Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Spirit and Soul podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Cohen, and today we are becoming you. You are becoming you. And what we're doing is we're talking about it's you, but it's the best version of you. All right. You know that we talk about this. I talk about this all the time, becoming the best version of you. Because right now, even if you're doing the work, we're really not wired to be the best version of ourselves. We have been taught through schools, through our parents' own limiting beliefs and fears and doubts that we have to be basically like a watered down version of who we are. And a lot of times, that's what we struggle with. And we struggle with loving ourselves. We struggle with really knowing who we are because we've been told to be somebody else for so long. And we don't even know who we are without all of those stories. And that's what I want you to get to know. I want you to get to know the version of you that is waiting for you, that doesn't have these old stories, that is, she has the old stories, but she's not defined by them anymore. And that is power, pure power. When you can start to unwind those stories and step more and more and more into who you were meant to be, that, my friend, is unstoppable. And we have to be ready to do the work. We have to be ready to start to understand that that version of us, while it feels like a goal, like it feels like something that you're working towards for the, in the future, that person's already a part of you. That version of you is waiting for you to recognize her, for you to know her or him or her, whoever's listening right now. And so becoming that best version of you means actually just making the choice to be that person today. So I want to tell you a little bit about some things that I've really been working through and towards. So in this journey of really stepping into the energy and role of the Billion Dollar Healer, which we just announced recently, and this is something that I've been working on, working with people. It's just been done in the background, but it took me really a lot to start to step into the energy of the Billion Dollar Healer, because as soon as the name was brought to my attention, I knew that that was the thing that I have been working towards for so long. And in order to become that version of me, I had to really understand, number one, that that was the future version. This is the future version I've been working towards. And whenever I would do my meditations, I would see that version of me, like years ago when I started this journey, I would see this version of me that I knew it felt so far away. And then as I was meditating more and more and manifesting more and more and leaning into that energy, it suddenly didn't feel so far away anymore. I knew I was getting closer to that version of me. And I didn't know how or why or what. And then the Billion Dollar Healer really started to come online. And as soon as I claimed it, I was suddenly in that version of myself. And I had to become her in all aspects. And I say all the time, you've heard me say it so many times, that when manifestations come to fruition, it often takes the body longer to catch up than the mind, or it takes the body longer to allow everything to integrate and settle. And we have to be gentle with the body whenever manifestations are coming true. So I kept seeing this version, and I kept seeing the same version. When I would think of Billion Dollar Healer, I was now seeing the version of me that I've been seeing for years and years before I even started Spirit and Soul Studio. And they were the same person. I was like, okay, I know that this is it. I know that I'm on the right track. So I started leaning into that life a lot. And I'm going to do another episode on like all of the things that I started walking through and all the healing that I did. But this one thing in particular, I really want to hone in on today because it was actually such a revelation. So I had started to see this version of me that had a beach house in a particular area, and I would always see myself in the same house. I mean, when I tell you that this is the house I've been seeing for, oh my gosh, like over 5 or 6 years now, I kept seeing the same house and I would see myself doing the same thing. I would run into like the lower level of the house, walk up the stairs, and like the kitchen was right there. And I started on this fitness journey recently where I was incorporating it in ways that just felt really good to me. And it just really stuck. It was the first time that I never had to like work for it. I just surrendered to it and allowed my body to lead the way rather than be something that I had to do. I made a commitment to myself that this was a version of me that was missing from that future version. Like that future version of me took care of her body, not just in nutrition, which is something that I have been doing now for a while. So I started to lean into that and I started going on these daily walks. If you follow me on Instagram, I was keeping myself accountable also to it by posting every day me on my walk. So I one day realized that, and I was like starting to add in little sprints to it just to get the heart rate going. And I was finding it easy to do the sprints, which was like such an odd thing for me because I always told myself that I am not a runner and I hate to run. Okay. I've always told myself that. And then one day I was walking and I was embodying and I was envisioning myself walking in the seaside town where my future house, my beach house is. And I started to see myself there and I was walking. And then it was like the timelines just came together and I was becoming that person. I was like actually walking on those streets. And suddenly I realized something that was there all along for all these years. I realized that I was running into the house. So if I was running into the house, I then all of a sudden it like, duh, like in my mind, I'm like, well, if every single time I see this vision and I walk through the door of this beach home, I'm running, like I'm on a jog, then I must be a runner in the future. The future version of me must run. And it just clicked. And I was like, oh, duh. Like it's been there all along. So I started to run and I started to, again, I never pushed myself, but I started to do that. And it started to feel really good in my body and it started to feel easy. Suddenly I wasn't telling myself that I wasn't a runner because I know the future version of me. She's a runner. She runs. I've been seeing it for years. So it was just like a story that I was telling myself, an old story. So I made a present day decision to become that future version of me. And I started to run. Like that was me collapsing a little bit more of that timeline, of that future timeline that I've been seeing for so long. But I was blocking myself from that the whole time. Even though it was there, I was blocking myself from it the whole time because I had a story in my mind. So what I want to do right now is I want you, if you've never done like a manifestation of a future version of you or a future life of you, I want you to start there. Like, and I don't want, you can slightly create it, but I want you to allow it to be given to you. I want you to allow the vision of it or the feeling of it, however you meditate. I want you to allow it to be given to you. Like when I would say like, I want a beach home in this area. And when I would say that, it would just come to me. I wouldn't say, this is what I want the house to look like. And this is what I blah, blah, blah. And that like, I would just say, this is what my dream is. And I face the water. those were the things that I had said, because you can be off the shoreline and I want to be right on it. And so I gave those things to my manifestation, to the universe, my little checklist. And then the universe filled in the blanks and showed me what was waiting for me all these years. And it has always been the same, basically every single time. So I started now to, once I allowed myself to really sit in on that and not just feel it, but to start to do the things that were embodiment practices of it, like go on a walk and say, okay, I'm walking on the streets, these beach streets. I started to feel into her more and more and more. And obviously there were life decisions for me to be able to, number one, afford this house, because it is definitely a very expensive house. And so I knew that life decisions were made or things were happening in my life in order to get me there. Okay. Are you guys with me so far? I know that you're with me. So that must mean that these things have happened. And I've seen things like a future book on the table, or, where we're going next. Like as we're talking, I'm talking to my husband and we're getting ready to go somewhere. Right. And it's like to a speaking engagement or whatever it might be. So I started to look for the clues in the vision. However, I also had to look at my present life and realize what the blocks to that future life were, what were the stories that I was telling myself. And that wasn't, I'm not going to lie to you, it wasn't such an easy task, right? You have to kind of notice these subconscious things as they come up. And of course, I was doing rapid transformational therapy, RTT, on myself, this hypnosis therapy, to unwind some of those subconscious programs. And of course, spinal energetics, Reiki, all of the things. So let's get into the challenges that you will face, or at least three of the challenges that you will face. And so that when they come up, you recognize them. Okay. So number one, first of all, before we get to the challenges, just a reminder, you are going to do a manifestation session where you start to provide an outline to the universe and then allow the universe to fill in some of the blanks. Okay. And I want you to meditate on that a few times. I want you to feel into it and then start to do some embodiment practices. And we have so many episodes on the Spirit and Soul podcast for embodiment. So go and listen to those if you're like not sure how to do that, but start to embody those things, play pretend, have fun with it. Okay. Now, the three challenges that will block you along the way are, number one, old identity glue. What does that mean? That means that you have a version of you that you are stuck on. Like I was saying, I am not a runner. That was old identity glue. Okay. That was something that I was telling myself, I am not this person. I don't do these things. And the future version of me was sitting there doing them the whole time. So I want you to understand that the words that you speak, the things that you say, will be your truth. They will be your reality. Okay. And also the continued stories that you tell yourself and the belief system that you tell yourself will continue to be your identity if you don't start to unwind them. Okay. First, you make your beliefs and then your beliefs make you. Okay. End of story. That is a Marissa Peer, love that quote of hers. First, you make your beliefs and then your beliefs make you. So we have to start understanding what those beliefs are. So if the belief is I am not a runner, then I will always not be a runner until I decide one day that I am a runner. And then I start to tell myself, well, I run. Well, the future version of me, she runs. So I must be able to run, right? So I want you to start to look at the manifestation for clues. And you might not see them all right away. Like there were other clues that I had seen in the beginning, but this particular clue, I would just skip right by because in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm just walking in the house, right? So what are your identities? What are the belief systems that you are telling yourself that you are making yourself stuck on? That is the glue that is holding you back from the life that you want to create. Okay. That's going to be number one. Once you can start to tell yourself a different story, even if you don't feel like it's true right now, honey, play pretend. Play pretend. Like, I don't have that house, but I pretend every time I walk on those streets that are at my house right now, near my house, like I am on the streets of the beach town that I want to live in. I am on those streets running. I feel that. And when my family comes out with me, I tell them where we are. And we all start to feel into that. So play pretend. It doesn't have to be, I hate fake it till you make it. People say that all the time. It's not faking it. You're living into a future version of you. That's not fake. You just have to allow yourself to let her come forward. And that's what you're not doing by allowing these belief systems, by allowing this glue to keep you stuck in an old timeline. We want to start to open up to new timelines, okay? Next, you tell yourself you're not ready. Ooh, honey, what are you telling yourself you're not ready for? What are you telling yourself that you are not ready to do yet? Because I am telling you right now, you will never be ready to do it, especially if you keep saying, I'm not ready yet. So start the business, start the health journey, find love, get on the dating app if that feels good for you. Go out to the coffee shop, make a new friend. Don't tell yourself that you are not ready anymore, that you don't have the time. I don't have the time. Honey, when something's important to you, you make the time. You make the time. That is the biggest constraint that I hear people say, is that they don't have time, but you have time to sit and scroll. You have time to watch Netflix. You have time for all of those things that are mindless. But the things that are going to bring you joy, the things that are going to help you to become a better version of yourself, you tell yourself you don't have time for them because that feels scary. And listen, I get it. I get it. Because anything that is unfamiliar is going to feel scary on the nervous system. Anything that you do that is different from what you do now is going to feel scary. Do it anyway. Do it anyway, because in order to make changes in your life, you have to make the unfamiliar familiar. Make the unfamiliar familiar. And the only way that you can do that is to just do it. And you're going to suck at it at first. And it's not going to feel comfortable at first. And then I just want you to do it anyway. I want you to keep my voice in the back of your mind that's giving you a kick in the ass that says, just do it anyway, even if it feels uncomfortable. And when I say uncomfortable, I want you to also use like your intuition here. Okay. If you're in an uncomfortable situation with a person where you don't feel physically safe, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where you're feeling resistance in your body because something is new and you are afraid to do that thing because it's new, because it's what? Unfamiliar. But as soon as you start doing it, it will become familiar, and it's actually going to become familiar very quickly. You're going to see the shift. All that you're doing when you're making something unfamiliar into something familiar is you're just telling the nervous system that you're safe, because that's really all that it's looking to do. That's what it wants. It just wants you to be safe. That is your ego's number one job. That's why it's going to constantly kick in and say, you can't do this, don't do this, this is scary, this is unsafe, because it's unfamiliar. As soon as you make it familiar, the ego's like, go for it. Get it done. It happens all the time, but you have to go. You have to make the first move. You have to tell the ego, don't worry, it's safe. You have to calm the nervous system through making the unfamiliar familiar. Okay. And the other thing is subconscious sabotage. Okay. That is going to be the third challenge that's going to block you, is subconscious sabotage. And this is where you have to start to try to see your stories that you tell yourself. These stories, you have to try to see them. Like, you have to try to catch yourself, or you should be doing the Billion Dollar Healer method, or you should be getting some kind of RTT, subconscious programming session, or spinal energetics or something like that to start to unwind these stories and start to know them and recognize them. Okay. Getting yourself out of karmic loops. This one takes some work. So I want you to recognize it. And a lot of times, the way that you can just begin to recognize it is just see it in the patterns. Just see it in the patterns that you do. If you keep on ending up in the same relationships, same types of relationships with narcissists, with people that don't respect your boundaries, with people that tell you that you can't do things, that you are too dumb, too this, too that, too loud, too whatever, and you keep seeing yourself in the same situations, that is a clue that you are subconsciously sabotaging yourself, because a better relationship is not familiar, because someone that respects you is not familiar. Now, that can come from childhood, that can come from family, that can come from wherever, but you at some point have to stop the cycle. And that's part of your karmic lessons in this lifetime, is to stop that cycle and choose differently. Okay. So I just want to say this: your stories, the things that have happened to you, the things that keep you stuck, truly, they will continue to define you until you don't let them, until you choose something different. And you have to choose differently. It has to be a conscious choice. But first, you have to recognize it, the subconscious programming behind it. So please understand that this is going to be you choosing something different. The way that I chose in that moment to be a runner, I chose, oh, that future version of me runs. She must be a runner. So I'm choosing to be that now. And I'm doing it imperfectly, and I'm doing it how I want to do it. And that's what feels good for me. So that's what I'm doing. And remember how I just said, I am doing it imperfectly. Imperfect. Because you're not going to be great at it the first time around. And that's okay. You are going to have to learn how to do it your way. So now it's time to start becoming that version of you. It's time to start becoming that best version of you. And remember, that is a present day decision of a version of you that is waiting for you. It's really waiting for you. It feels like it's in the future, but she's already a part of you. You just have to choose her. And when you choose her, that's when your vibration begins to start rising. Okay? Because remember this, just a side note, you have a highest and best version of you, and you also have a lowest version of you. You have a version of you, and then you have everything in between. Remember, we have unlimited timelines. You have everything in between. Every single thing is a choice. So right now, you're choosing the life that you are in. And if that doesn't sit well with you, if you don't like that, I'm sorry, but it's true. You have chosen this life with all its discomfort, with the things that you don't like, and with the things that you love. You've chosen them all. You've made a conscious choice at some point to stay in a relationship that doesn't suit you, to live a life that's not fulfilling you, to be in a job that you don't like. You're choosing all of those things. There is always a way out. I used to tell myself all the time that there was no way out of my corporate job, that this was it. I'm in it for life. I used to tell myself that story all the time. And what was it? A story. Just a story. As soon as I stopped telling myself that story, my life started to change. Did it change immediately? No. I had to become that version. I had to unwind a lot of things. But I'm here now. I've done the things. And if I can do it, you can do it. So know that. You're looking at proof of someone who's changed their life over and over and over again once I became aware that I had a choice. You have a choice. So start choosing a life that feels good for you. You get one life in this body. Start to freaking choose a life that feels good. Okay? So the way that you can start to become that version is to start identifying with her. Start embodying it. Like I said, start embodying, start identifying with that version. Know that if you're seeing it, the universe has already said it happens. If it's on your heart, it's meant for you. It's there for a reason. Okay. It's not just like a pipe dream. It's not any of those things. It is you just choosing that version because it is available to you. The other thing is starting to rewire through repetition. Okay. So making sure that you're rewiring through repetition. So starting with affirmations and, of course, doing the work subconsciously. Okay. Doing the work subconsciously is going to be really stinking important. Okay. This like RTT, if anything like that, the Billion Dollar Healer method, where I combine many, many different methods. I combine RTT, I combine spinal energetics and some ancient practices in order to really start to clear out and open you up to what is possible for you. I mean, it's fantastic. But that's going to help you to start rewiring. And then the other thing is energetic alignment. What is not in alignment with you? What is not in alignment with that future version of you? You have to start really getting clear about that. It may be people, okay? It may be your job. It may be how you're living your life, the foods that you're eating. I mean, it goes on and on. Maybe alcohol is not in alignment with you. Like, get clear. I gave up alcohol a few years ago, and not for any reason. I just one day decided that was that. And in so doing, I started to feel so much better. And also I've stopped like letting go of the pressure that I felt socially, right? Not that anybody was pressuring me, but I just felt like if I'm out, I should have a drink. If everybody else is drinking, so should I. And now I do not subscribe to that. I'm like, drink away if you want. Like, I'm still going to have a great time. Right. So is alcohol in alignment with you? Is like, and I'm not saying like for those that drink, do it. Just check yourself with all of the decisions. If the food that you're eating doesn't make you feel good, stop eating it or start to eliminate it or start to just cut down on it. Maybe you eat too much of it, right? Like start to see the things that are in alignment with you and that are not, and start to make decisions for your highest self. Remember, tap into that visualization that I was telling you about. What is that version doing? What is in that life and what's not in that life? Like start to live into it. Get granular with it. Like see a meal on the table. What's on the plate? What's on the plate? Like start to get that granular with it. Because don't you want to step into that timeline? Like, wouldn't you give anything to have that right now? That's how I feel. I'm like, let's go. Eliminate the things from my plate. I'm a runner, right? Like, if that version of me that I feel into, not just that has the things, that I feel when I am that version, is just decisions away, is just a minute away from me embodying it to the fullest, to not fight with that future version of me, like fighting with that future version. I'm not a runner. That future version's like, hell, you're not. You're a runner. Look, right? Like, stop fighting with that future version and just start to become her. Like, you can collapse that timeline so freaking fast if you just choose it. So just choose. Choose you. Choose you. Okay? Remember, the future version of you doesn't have to be a future goal. It's a present day decision. So start to choose. And I hope that this episode lit a fire under your butt. I hope that you start to realize the challenges that stand in the way of the future version of you. And if you've never even given the future version of you a thought, I hope that now you do. Because life is not meant to stay exactly the same forever. You are meant to grow. If you're not growing, you're dying. Okay? So let's go. Let's grow into the version and the life that is meant for you, your best life, the one that feels so good for you. I can't wait to see that for you. And thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Spirit and Soul Podcast. And listen, I want to hear from you. Reach out to me at Spirit and Soul Studio and let me know, what are your biggest dreams? Let me know what you're going to do, the decision that you're going to make right now that's going to start to change you into becoming the best version of you right now. And how are you going to embody that? I want to hear from you. Okay. And of course, if you are lit up by this episode, please leave me a review on Spotify. Please leave the Spirit and Soul Podcast a review on Apple. It makes a difference, and I appreciate you and love you, and I'm rooting for you. Thank you so much.